can!
It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams here today.
Hi, you're watching Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. On the show today, we start with Formula One. An absolutely entertaining topsy-turvy season drew to a close with a new F1 champion in Lando Norris, but not without Max Verstappen going out in a blaze of fiery finish at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Even though Norris won the title, we tell you what has Max actually won. Even as talks about Rohit, Sharma, Virat, Kohli and Gambhir continue to swirl around Indian cricket taking up centre stage, so does the blame game, with even one misstep or loss raking the conversation up. But is the Indian cricket fan in need of a transition themselves more than the Indian men's cricket team itself? And England are staring down the barrel, 2-0 down in the Ashes against Australia. What has riled up experts and former England cricketers is now not so much the loss, but what is being said by the squad post it. The messaging. Is England stuck in a situation they are struggling to get out of? But first, the headlines on Sports 360. Starting with football, Real Madrid's La Liga campaign took a massive hit after a 2-0 loss at Celta Vigo at home. The Spanish Giants were reduced to 10 men, with Fran Garcia getting a red card in the 54th minute. Celta Vigo's Williat Swedberg capitalized and scored a brace. Madrid are now 4 points behind league leaders Barcelona. Brazilian star Neymar has saved his boyhood club Santos from getting relegated. In a dream comeback, Santos registered their third consecutive win to avoid relegation. They beat Cruzeiro 3-0 in their final league game. Neymar has scored 5 goals in Santos' last 4 matches. The Brazilian is set to undergo another knee surgery. Moving to cricket, out of favour, Bangladesh's Shakib Al Hasan is eyeing his return home. Before he retires from all formats of the game, the cricketer hasn't played an international match since the Test series in India last year. Shakib was named in a murder investigation during the Bangladeshi protests in 2024 and has not come home ever since. Over in the NBA, LeBron James and Luka Doncic powered LA Lakers to a 112-108 points win over Philadelphia 76ers. James, who scored just 8 points in his previous game against Toronto Raptors, returned with 29 against the 76ers. Doncic scored 31 points to take his side to second spot in the Western Conference table. And summing it up with hockey, India's shot at the FIH Junior World Cup came to an end. The hosts lost to defending champions Germany 1-5 in the semi-finals. India faces Argentina next in the bronze medal match on the 10th of December. The most enthralling and entertaining Formula One season came to a close in Abu Dhabi yesterday. Max Verstappen did his best, put his foot on the pedal to complete the race first, but unfortunately missed out on the championship. No one could really stop Lando Norris from rounding off the podium in third place, encapsulating a brilliantly flawed yet pulsating, nerve-wracking F1 season. And in a manner that really narrated what life truly is. If Max promised us the stars, Norris gave us perspective, and that's what we will decode today here in this story. Lando Norris broke into tears as he slowed down right after crossing the checkered flag. The emotions flooding him, the team thrilled a double for McLaren for the first time ever since 1998, a driver's title for McLaren for the first time since 2008. It was poetic, it was cathartic, it was sweet. A moment that took its time to arrive. He says he now knows what Max Verstappen really would have felt like when he won that first, and what winning it all, going all the way after a year of highs and lows and manic times really truly feels like. It was overwhelming, and you could sense that with Norris. How did Max Verstappen, though, take this loss despite winning Abu Dhabi? Two drivers who had given this their best shot. But there's so much to learn for us in our professions here from both these drivers, just looking at them. Take a look at Max, feisty, aggressive, an athlete who will always strive to get his way, for whom war of words, a squabble here or there, or a tiff somewhere else is all in a day's work. He was a one-man beast up against two very strong McLaren drivers who were snapping at his heels. And yet, he struck fear in them. Max had the most topsy-turvy year. Red Bull was fighting their own demons in the paddock, and Verstappen did not just have to deal with that alone, but also his own slump. Clawing your way back from being 100 points away from the eventual winner, which he missed out by just 2 points, by the way, is a journey that will tell us to keep fighting, that nothing is ever out of reach. You don't have to have the best of resources at hand. Red Bull was not the fastest car in the season. You don't need assistance on the track all the time. Max didn't have a steady, consistent assistance of a number 2 this season. Every pit stop or turn could seem daunting. Max had to surmount a massive gap to even make us believe he was in with a chance. But he kept fighting. There probably was not even a moment he thought this was truly over. He made us believe this could be it. It could happen. He made us dream, he made us hope, and that's the power of belief, the strength in it, something so magical that it will make you suspend logic and live in an idealistic realm even for that one moment. That's what Max Verstappen did. He truly made us think he could do this, even though you knew, logically, it was not only up to him. Norris too had to finish outside the podium, and with Verstappen winning, for this really to materialize, for a title win to happen. That's true champion stuff. And then to take it all in your stride, that's a mark of greatness there. Because he knew he was taking us all for that ride, but made us forget the permutations for the weekend. That's pure, sublime genius. And then there's Norris, the absolute opposite end of that spectrum, the athlete who embodies, put your head down, get down to work. There's no need to get fired up. If it can be done without the heat, then might as well get it done. And that finish in Abu Dhabi and his title were proof of just this attitude. He didn't need to show Max that he was the champion. He just about did his best, whatever he really could, and that was enough. Norris's achievement is nothing short of stunning. Stopping Red Bull and Max Verstappen in their tracks is no mean feat, especially with Max gunning for a record 5th consecutive title. Norris just didn't overthink this, and he didn't have to. And that's a great thing to do, because history is rife with athletes who've got disappointed trying hard and trying to go that extra mile. Norris chose not to. No big show, no drama, just doing the bare minimum required without any hiccups. His former teammate, in fact, sums it up rather nicely.
He's a driver that doesn't follow the typical stereotypes of a world champion. Very open about his own struggles and proven to everyone you can be a world champion being a nice guy, or don't have to be ruthless or bad.
Sport does this, doesn't it? It pits the nice guys with the bad boys, fixes labels for champions. How somehow it's so much more emotional when a nice guy doesn't finish last. Here's the thing though, quite unpopular this, but I guess it is apt in the time that we're living in today. Your job as an F1 driver is only one thing: to win for your team, for yourself. That's why you became a driver. That's why you fought all the odds to get here, to Formula One, the pinnacle of your sport. Whether you are a nice guy while doing that or not is a choice that you shouldn't have to justify to anyone, to yourself, to your team, or to the world. Max can be many things, but he knows how to win. No matter where his journey heads from here, and it doesn't take rocket science to guess it's only going to be that much more significant for the sport itself. Max Verstappen has already showed us what it takes to dream and dream big. What it can do for anyone, F1 fan or not, Max fan or not. Nothing can quite compare to feeling alive, to truly believing that impossible is nothing, that you can actually control even the uncontrollables, that you can do anything at all. That will be Max Verstappen's biggest legacy to pass down. India have won the ODI series against South Africa 2-1, but once again the entire conversation has circled back to the same three names: Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma and head coach Gambhir. And the reaction? Explosive, yet predictable. Fans jumped the gun, praising Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli to the heavens, and immediately questioned Gambhir. One good day they're legends, one bad day and you have a villain. So today we ask, forget Team India, is the Indian cricket fan transitioning and evolving at all? Cricket in India isn't just a sport, it's an identity, it's culture, it is emotion. And because of that, it has become the easiest battlefield for opinions to float around. Social media, the drawing rooms, workplaces, everyone suddenly has a hammer to pass judgment and a pen to write someone off, especially fans. For months now, the biggest debate has hovered around three of the biggest pillars of Indian cricket. Two legends in Rohit and Virat and their 2027 World Cup candidature, and one man helming the affairs of the Indian cricket side, coach Gambhir. But here's the real problem. The narrative keeps flipping depending on the last scorecard. When Gambhir took over from Dravid, he was hailed as the answer to everything. Champions Trophy win, he was credited. Asia Cup domination, he was praised again. Suddenly, he was the perfect man who'd come at the perfect time. But then, India's test results under him tanked, and especially at home, and that can hurt. And Gambhir became the problem, the wrong man for the job, the reason for the failures.
This team is nowhere near reflective of the deep strength we possess in the red ball format. Time for India to move to a specialist red ball coach for Test cricket.
And remember, he's not alone. This sentiment was shared by plenty of fans out there too. Then India beat South Africa in the ODI series, yes, although a different format, and suddenly the guns went back into their holsters. But Gambhir didn't miss the moment.
People should learn to stay in their domain. An IPL owner should stay in his domain. A coach should stay in his domain. A player should stay in his domain.
Was he harsh? Maybe. Was he wrong? Not entirely. Now look, criticism is fine. Fans have critiqued for decades, and they've got the right to do that. They right to voice their opinion. But criticism without consistency is nothing. And that's exactly what we are seeing. Because India's test failures were not just Gambhir's failures. That has become a collective failure. Selections, execution, planning, mentality. So why is it always easier for fans to put one face on the firing line every single time? And it's not just the criticism. Even the praise gets exaggerated at times.
I don't think the place of Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma in the team should have been a question. You have to treat them differently and give them space.
Look, agreed, they are generational superstars. But here's the uncomfortable question we have to deal with. What about Indian cricket after Rohit and Kohli? Because this series showed something that should excite every Indian fan. The bench isn't just solid, it's ready. So is the rest around in that playing 11. Yashasvi Jaiswal's 100 in the decider, Ruturaj Gaikwad's brilliance, that second ODI, Prasidh Krishna and Kuldeep Yadav doing the heavy lifting with the ball, Harshit Rana too chipping in there, and a long list of young talent that's waiting to break the doors open. We can celebrate Kohli and Rohit, absolutely. But where's the lens on the next generation? Where's the fervour there? The same patience, the same unconditional backing. And that's where the real problem exists. Let's be honest, the World Cup is still 2 years away. The real question is not, will Rohit and Kohli play in 2027? The real question is, are Indian fans prepared to back the team and be prepared to watch a team without them? Because the obsession with superstars is a double-edged sword. Yes, it drives up viewership, it inspires generations. It also creates resistance to change, resistance to transition, resistance to evolve. And if Indian cricket wants to dominate beyond 2027, it needs what every champion team has: continuity, clarity, and a long-term plan. Not mood swings based on 100 or one failure. So here's the truth. Indian cricket doesn't belong to one player, not to one coach or one generation. It belongs to the system, to the process, and to the millions who watch it. Rohit and Virat built an era, a golden one, no doubt. And while they should be celebrated, now is the time to also groom and watch the next generation play out just as eagerly. Maybe the fans won't be doing it, but these legends are certainly making it possible behind the scenes. As fans, are you ready to evolve with the team? Because in the end, only one thing matters. Will Indian cricket move forward? Because the bottom line is this: players, they come and go. The sport, that stays. England have slumped to another crushing 8-wicket defeat to Australia in the Ashes. The visitors now trail 2-0 in a 5-match series, and naturally the heat is intensifying. Not just because they lost, but because of the baffling comments that have come out from the founder of Baseball himself. Instead of accepting failure and moving forward, Brendon McCullum has decided to stir the pot, saying this England side was over-prepared. A statement that has rubbed the entire English cricket fraternity the wrong way. So what's really gone wrong again? Now, to be fair, England did show signs of some fight in that second test at the Gabba. There was a sense of responsibility, finally. But that just lasted for a handful of sessions. Joe Root shut critics up with his first 100 on Australian soil. Brydon Cast picked up 4 important wickets. Ben Stokes battled hard for a gritty 50. Jofra Archer showed some passion in the dying moments of the game. And yes, a little verbal altercation to spice up the third test in Adelaide. It had it all. But it's as if muscle memory prevails every single time, a muscle memory that has been inculcated now in this England squad for 4 years. And England cannot simply shake it off. The logical next step: address the mistakes, fix the cracks that are widening, and focus on saving the series in Adelaide. But logic and England don't seem to be friends these days, because instead of clarity, we got excuses and delusion. First came the captain, Ben Stokes, who rightly criticised his side, but then followed it up with this.
When we are on top, we are great. And when behind the game, we are also very good. But when that moment is neck and neck, we are not coming out on top on enough occasions.
Neck and neck. Somebody remind Stokes, please, that when you set a target of 65 for your opposition, you are not neck and neck. You are nowhere close. The opposition has cooked you and your moments from jail time. But what can we expect when the coach himself is setting the tone of denial?
We will have a beer tonight. I think leading into this test match, I actually felt like we over-prepared, to be honest. I think the boys just need a few days off, and we probably need to change up a few of the training methods.
Over-prepared, says Baz, coming from a side that didn't even send their first team for a 2-day practice game before the Gabba test. Some very spicy comments there from former cricketers who are clearly furious. Fans are angry as well. Pundits are done being a little patient and saying this one more time, maybe, just maybe it'll happen and turn around. And honestly, you can't blame any of them for this because England's pattern has become predictable now. When they get criticized for spending hours on golf, they call it their approach. When they get criticized for lack of practice, they brand it as too much training. When they lose, they say the process was right, the execution wasn't. And this is the real issue. This England side refuses to look inwards, to admit mistakes, to evolve. Bazball is not the problem. Bazball plus ego surely is. Bazball without accountability is because this brand of cricket that once felt refreshing, fearless and revolutionary has now become stubborn, rigid and delusional. The moment Bazball became more than just a strategy, England lost the plot. And guess what? Now with everyone criticizing England's dissidence, their disagreement to conform to convention, the team really has two choices in front of them. They either carry on with their stubborn approach and just pray that this act of bravado finally pays off. Now that's going to be a tough one to surpass because they are up against Australia, who are not banking on luck, they are outplaying England. The other way is to eat some humble pie and reroute. Go back to square one and start afresh. Of course, that would mean admitting the one thing England have never wanted to and never have in their Bazball stint, that Bazball itself has failed them. Can they swallow their pride enough to admit so? Because truth is, Bazball was never supposed to be an excuse. It was meant to be a shift in mindset, not a shield. The Ashes isn't lost yet, but it will be if England continue living in denial instead of confronting reality. Because in Test cricket, talent matters, skill matters, conditions matter, but self-awareness and acceptance, that's what really wins you series. You win the biggest challenges by finding flaws and working on them. The question now is simple: will England willingly give in and hence move forward, or will they Bazball their way to another historic embarrassment? Time for last serve. Milan is experiencing a different kind of Christmas this year. The Italian city, which is set to host the Winter Olympics, has generated the perfect sort of build-up to signal the countdown to the games. Take a look. Surely look like Christmas has indeed come early to Firstpost, but that wraps it up here today. I'll see you again tomorrow. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.
They promised glory. They delivered fear. They shaped nations. They scarred generations. From brutal purges to propaganda machines, from stolen power to violent falls from the throne. Welcome to The Dictator, a series that strips away the myth and then exposes the men behind the tyranny. History remembers their power. Firstpost reveals their truth.